there is no guarantees in business. There's so many moving parts, and if you're not good at every single one of them, or if you're not trying to get better at every single one of them, it's so easy. It's unbelievably easy to fail. Roughly 90% of businesses don't last more than 5 years, and that is just an insane statistic. Hey, it's Julian. Welcome back to another episode of Lost and Founders. Today I'm here with a couple of guests, actually, some industry colleagues and peers of mine. I'm here with
Ben
and
Joel.
So guys, firstly, thank you for coming on. Looking forward to hearing more about what you guys are working on. I think it's pretty cool. I've seen some of the videos that you guys have been creating out there in the public, talking to sort of business owners and other people in the public about, applying for loans and some of the pain points that you guys solve. But there's obviously, before we get to Accurateli and all the stuff you're doing there, a bit of a backstory and, how you guys sort of got into the industry. And so we want to go all the way back to the beginning. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah. It is a long story, so we might run out of time by the time I'm done. I'm 39 now, and my first job in mortgages, I was 15. So there's a little bit there. But long story short, or short story long, I was actually expelled from school in year 10, at the end of year 10, at King's School, which a lot of people were. There was about 40 kids that got expelled in my year that year. Wow. So it was, I think we all just got the letter photocopied and sent out there. So, and the rule in my house was you're either studying or you're working. So after sort of trying to look for a couple of last minute schools to go to, I decided that I was going to go and go to TAFE. Started studying accounting because I was good at maths, and there's not a lot of maths in accounting. A lot of it's just learning legislation and things. I found it very boring. And then decided to go to work. I was literally, after 2 weeks of TAFE, I was like, not for me. So then I sent my resume to a whole bunch of different places, applying for finance related roles. I reckon I had about 10 roles that were in like accounting teams, and one was mortgages. And I was at Mortgage House, and I didn't actually know the difference between mortgage and finance. I just thought it was all numbers. So anyway, I started there, and I was just a file lackey, basically just carrying files around. $187 a week before tax there, which is a pretty good deal. Been trying to find staff of my own at that price, and they don't exist. So
let me know if you've come across any.
I will, for sure. Yeah. So then was there for 3 months. Didn't pass probation, but Mum, I didn't tell my mum, and she went to drop me off at work. But I'd actually secretly printed a bunch of resumes, and I just walked around Parramatta handing out my resume, and walked into one place, and I was 16 at that stage. I'd just turned 16, and walked in one place which was Smartline Home Loans, and got to meet the guys, Dennis and Simona there. Very lovely, and they were actually looking, but they hadn't put an ad up, so it was like perfect. They pretty much said, "When can you start?" And I was like, "Now," and they're like, "No, go home first, and then start Monday." So anyway, I started working there, and because I had the few months at Mortgage House, I kind of got to know what lending was about, and then they were telling me what they did. We have access to, I think it was like 15 lenders or something back then. And we do it all free of charge. I was like, what? You do this for free? That's crazy, right? I couldn't believe it. And of course now everybody knows what a mortgage broker was, but back then it was, maybe it was like 30% or less that actually went to a mortgage broker. So I thought, this is unreal. I've got to do this. This is my goal. As soon as I had to be 18 to become a mortgage broker, and I was like, as soon as I turn 18, I'm going to do it. And then I turned 18. I was actually working full time there, and I was working nights delivering pizza, and I was saving money for a laptop. And back then, a laptop was like $3,500. So it took me a while to save up. Anyway, turned 18, went to Bankstown to buy it like at like a pawn shop, a laptop, and I was like, yeah, heaps excited. And then I went out to party with my brother in Surrey Hills, and we celebrating. I guess it was like, I don't know, any reason to go out and party, I guess. Came back to the car, and the window was smashed, and I was like, oh man, someone's like smashed my window, and I had a look, I had some coins in the thing. I was like, yeah, they're not taken. Okay, cool. Go home, and then next thing in the morning, my mum yells out, "Who broke your window?" I was like, oh, I don't know. Someone tried to, whatever. And then she goes, "Where's your computer?" And I was like, oh shit, like. I knew obviously someone had smashed the window and took the computer. So then I sort of abandoned that goal, right? And just went to work, and we actually went to Rams. Needed a bit more money than what I was on there, and then basically didn't really think of that dream again till I was 26. Or actually I should say I was 21, and I joined AFG, and then when I turned 26. My brother had actually taken his own life, which was a big wake up call for me. He was a bit of a dreamer like I am, and always had all these big goals, and I guess it sort of got a bit too much for him, and he decided to take his own life, which was very impactful. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be a gunner anymore. I'm going to be a doer. I'm going to go and become a broker and live out that dream. So that was in 2012. So it was sort of when
NCCP just came in.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh man, and it was like 3 strikes and you're out. Don't have a home number, first home buyer, and Southwest Sydney. You can't get a loan. Seriously. You probably remember those. It was insane, and they wouldn't tell you. So. So all my clients had a home number of 99999. Then met my now wife Amanda in 2015 or 2016, and we started a mortgage brokerage called Peasy, and we're actually coming up to our 10-year anniversary in September 25th.
Congrats, man.
Thank you very much.
10-year wedding anniversary or Peasy anniversary?
Peasy anniversary, yeah. So no, the wedding anniversary is in April 28th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, sorry, 27th. I hope she's not watching.
We'll edit that
one. 2 days before Anzac Day, because we had an Anzac Day celebration. I guess going through all of that, being a business owner, how hard it is just to run a business. There's things that you didn't think were things. You've got to be sometimes you've got to be a plumber and a IT expert and admin. You're cleaning the toilets one minute, then talking about multi-million-dollar transactions the next, and it's a lot of hard work. And then the paperwork, tax returns at the end of the year, and trying to understand all of those things, and it was really difficult. And so I've always, same as you, always had this connection with other business owners and how difficult that was, and then trying to apply for a loan, and then you go through all of that to get ahead in life, and you pay a lot of tax and you kind of do all the right things, and then you get scrutinised by the bank when you go for a loan. Or worse still.
Yeah, and you get scrutinised for being a responsible business owner. And I'm minimising sounds like you're doing the wrong thing, but it's not. Minimising your tax is not illegal.
No, you're just following the rules.
You're following the rules, right? And if you're doing it and you're crossing the line, then that's tax evasion. But I'm talking about, being a responsible business owner and declaring the right deductions and doing all those things doesn't lend well to the sort of traditional banking model, right? And that's why I think if you look now, there's so many non-banks, there's so many more alternative lenders that some customers are flocking to, and their pricing is just as competitive, or in some cases more competitive, and they're just more flexible on criteria, or more understanding, or more able to think outside the square, and people are flocking to that. But it's challenging because as a business owner, it's very different. You don't just have like a pay slip that says here's what your income is. there's fluctuations, and you take money out when you can sometimes, you know, that's the reality of it. Like, I think if people looked at how much I pay myself from loan options, they'd be probably surprised. Like, on paper, I earn a decent amount of money, but in actual fact, I don't pay myself that money all the time. It's just like, that's how much market value is, and we don't want to sort of have, you know, a situation where it looks like the business is thriving, but it's only because I'm paying myself below market. So on paper, I pay myself market, but in actual fact, I just take what I need as a salary. Like, you know, if I don't have a really big expensive lifestyle, and I think a lot of business owners who are trying to make their way kind of operate with that. They're building for the future. They're hiring all these people. They're investing in technology. They've got all these tax bills and payroll tax and this and GST and like all these bills just seem to keep coming, right? And it's hard to manage it all because it's not set up in a way that is conducive to it. You know?
It's not set up that way at all. And that's part of the problem that we're trying to solve, is that people do those things in real life, and that's how real life works, and you have these expenses. Like, a good example is rental expense. So for you live at home, lots of businesses since COVID, they do generally work from home and they're deriving income at home, and so you can claim part of your rent under the business. That happens all the time. And like our controversial opinion, shouldn't be controversial, should be the first add back before depreciation, before interest, everything should be rental expense. So if you're claiming part of your home rent, you should be able to add that back to your profit, because it is correct that you can lower your profit.
Yeah.
Claim as an expense lowers your profit, pay less tax.
But
if you just read the line, you just go...
Yeah, you're paying the rent anyway.
And then the landlord pays tax on that. Like, it's getting taxed somewhere.
And it's the only genuine thing I think should be added back immediately. But no banks do it, and you go, oh, why? Why wouldn't it? That makes perfect sense. But we ask them, no one's really asking. They don't really understand the question. Like, what do you mean? And then when they work it out, they're like, oh, no way we add that back. That's an expense. I'm like, yeah, but you're expensing it again post-tax in the servicing calc. So that's one of the problems. Why don't they? We go, well, maybe just because it takes too long. You can't sit down, talking about the lender's margins, you sit down and read their financials. You can't sit there and be tailored for every individual. How do you do this? How do you do that?
It can be.
It can be if you automate it. So that's what we're doing. Yeah. But
we want to get into your story because, you know, Joel, firstly, I'm really sorry to hear about your brother, but it's super important. Like, you know, there's... I know, like Tom Caesar, he's from LMG Asset. He's on a Kokoda sort of thing, and I did get invited to go and do that, and I really wanted to, but it's the same weekend as my brother's birthday and stuff. But it is about raising awareness on men's mental health. Like 75% of the suicides are men, and you know, there's this sort of stigma around. You know, men being too tough for their own good, right? And talking about their feelings or whatever. But, you know, it kind of seems abstract and like, oh, you'll be right until it's your brother, you know, and then your life is turned upside down. So, you know, really sorry to hear that. And hopefully, you know, him looking down on you now, I think he'd be proud of the you know, all the things that you've achieved. And, so I wanted to make sure we cover that and pay that
Thank you.
respect. But yeah, tell us your story. Like, how, and then what's the convergence of you two? Like, did you get expelled from the same school at the same time?
We actually met at the line for the jobs. No, in the careers office. No, I probably look older than you because of my grades, but I'm actually younger than Joel by 4 years. But my story is, I moved around a lot as a kid, so so I moved around a lot as a kid, which is where my kind of interest came for property and home loans and how to get a property and all this sort of stuff. Because when I grew up, I wanted one place to stay in one place and not move around. I bought in 2017, which is like the peak of the market. I'm now questioning whether the property was actually the right move. But like, is business better than property? That question is becoming very common now. You've probably seen lots of people coming out and actually questioning that.
Yeah,
I think it's a fair
Jack
question.
Henderson and
Charlie Gearside.
Yeah, there was a debate on Frank Grief's podcast. That was I thought that was pretty interesting. And look, there's both good points on both sides. I think the vast majority of people who are not geared in a way where they can manage all the moving parts of a business, property is a safe way, and it is a safer bet. There is no guarantees in business. There's so many moving parts, and if you're not good at every single one of them, or if you're not trying to get better at every single one of them, it's so easy. It's unbelievably easy to fail. Like it is, you know, there's a stat, it's like roughly 90% of businesses don't last more than 5 years. And that is just an insane statistic.
Yeah.
Like, how many mates do you know that are business owners or just started a business? I know quite a few. And to think that, you know, 9 out of 10 of them isn't going to make it 5 years, it's pretty sad, you know, and all the effort and money they pour into that, if they put some of that money in to, you know, buying property, they'd probably be better off. And that's the reality of it. Sometimes they're really good at whatever it is their skill. Like, they could be the best plumber, the best electrician, the best mortgage broker, the best whatever. It doesn't make them a good business owner. And this is something that even in my team, because brokers have a fairly low bar to entry. You know, like I don't have a university degree, but I became a broker.
Me neither.
Most brokers don't, right? And I don't know about most, but like a lot of brokers that I know don't have a university degree. It's not required, but the bar is quite low, and it's good in a sense that it can be a great career opportunity if you want to specialize in that subject matter. But equally, it gives people a false sense of I can do this myself. And so often what happens is you have a business and you start building, you start investing in people and you start training them, and then they go, I could, like, say they're getting a commission, they go, I could do this myself and take all of it, you know, but they forget that there's a whole level of infrastructure around, like our marketing engine and you know, and that's like the whole idea of my business is to create an environment where I can generate more value for them, our team members, than they could possibly generate themselves, because the value proposition should be so good from me as an employer that if they went and tried to do it on themselves, on their own, they would end up in a worse position. Now, that might be hard to sort of fathom for some people, but the reality is the marketing engine, the technology, the way that we treat people,
even just the admin. Even
just the support inside, like broker support and admin and accounting and all that stuff. You're able to spend 100, like, to say some of our top brokers, you're currently able to spend 100% of your time being a broker.
Yeah.
If you're a business owner, how much of your time is going to be spent being a business owner?
Yeah.
Doing accounting, doing payroll, doing all this stuff, versus actually being able to be a broker. Then you also have to do business development. In our team, you don't have to. We have somebody that does that for you. You know, then you have to get somebody that does relationship management and client retention and blah blah blah, and this and that. And so, but that's the trap that people get lured into. They're like, I can just I've already got my Cert 4. I can just go and get my own FBAA, set up my own company, do all this kind of thing, and then I can be my own broker and get paid 100% of the commission. And it's like,
it never is.
I mean, if that's all your employer is offering, accreditations, then you kind of see why, right? If you have to go and hunt everything yourself and there's no brand and there's no marketing, and I kind of get the brokers that do that, but the value proposition from an employer perspective should be that you are generating more value for them than they can possibly generate themselves, and that's kind of how I think of it. But that is the trap. Like, some of them are really good brokers, but they'd be terrible business owners. They can't even turn up on time to a meeting, like themselves. How are they going to turn up to their own referral partner meetings, or, you know, keep track of what day of the week payroll is? And, like, you know, some people couldn't manage their own alarm clock in their phone, you know.
I think one thing to be careful of as a business owner is that you know, people are going to come and go, and not everyone's going to recognize your value. Yeah. And so I always like this metaphor that I was reading, the sort of like top 10 valuable minerals in the world, and there's some, like, the number one is like millions of dollars for a microgram, and it's like some byproduct of the nuclear fission process. But anyway, if you show that to someone, it just looks like lead from, like, the inside of a pencil. And a diamond, right? And then if they're going to pick the diamond because everybody knows what a diamond is and sees value in it, you don't, like, go off at them. How could you? Can't you see that this is like? The thing is like, if somebody can't recognize the value that you're providing, it's okay for them to go, right? Because you can. I mean, we just went in this merry-go-round of, like, why did they leave, and how do we make things better? And sometimes what you're offering is actually awesome, and it just didn't suit them, or they didn't see the value in that.
Or it doesn't align with their goals.
That's right.
And that's okay
fine
too. Yeah.
Or you start a business together.
Yeah.
Because the history of me really is moved around. I wanted to own property, always interested in property. I was at school. I finished school, no idea what I wanted to do. So I was 17 when I finished school and no idea. Just picking up and trying things. That's all I did. And I ended up working at a bank, at CBA. I just didn't like working for such a huge company because changes too slow. I'm like, I want me to do this. And you're like, okay, well, they wouldn't listen to me anyway. And then it just, if you did listen to you, it takes you 10 little micro or 10 huge levels to go through to get something changed. It might be like, if you write with your right hand, just use your right hand. Don't use your left. And it's like, but we need people to sign off on that. And you're like, mate,
so
just move, just do it, go. So I was like, okay, I need to go to smaller business. I worked at a wine company, studied wine for a bit. I'm like, not my thing. I found jiu-jitsu. I got hooked on jiu-jitsu and MMA, worked for UFC gyms. And it's a bit of a funny story. I'm thinking, I don't know how I make money here. And I'm in my late 20s by then. I'm like, okay, I do need to make money because I do want to buy property, right? What do I do? Do I go back to... I'd worked in home loans and mortgages before that. And so I'm like, do I go back to that or what do I do? Now I'm waiting at a bus stop to get a bus from the UFC gym where I was working. And I get a call from a recruiter just asking, oh, hey, we got this job. I hadn't been applying for jobs either. Just out of the blue calls me. I'm like, okay, I'll go. And it was an interview with Joel at Peasy. So that's how we met. I got the job. I originally applied for a relationship manager role and Peasy, so that's Joel's mortgage broker business. They do lots of testing, like, this guy's all right with numbers and stuff, so maybe he's probably better for this researcher role, like a parabroker probably, or research analyst, we call it. I did that for 6.5 years at Peasy.
Yeah, wow.
Or 6 and a bit years, whatever it was. And and I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of, you can only do so much research analyst jobs or I could be a credit. I did not want to go assess home loans at a bank, so I'm like, I don't want to do that. But what I do, my skill set, and I'm like, so we started this thing we called Project Get Out of the Weeds. So we just went, okay, what can we do? And we're just kind of spitballing stuff and it evolved into what we're doing now.
Yeah, and we started with spreadsheets. Ben built this a spreadsheet that was identical to a tax return. And I was like, man, if we can put formulas in there, then you enter the details. And, I thought, there'd be like 10 items in a tax return because I don't go into that level of detail. There'd be like 10 or 20 things in a tax return. Ben's done the whole tax return and he started working formulas. If you put something in here, then it triggers this question and this thing. And I'm like, how many are there, Ben? He's like 180 fields just in an individual return. I'm like, what? No one can sit here and data enter that.
No.
And then AI just started to get bigger. We were looking into like the document reading, the OCR stuff.
So we'd heard about robotics. We'd heard about Macquarie Bank were using robotics to read things. But as soon as a pixel's different, it's like, can't recognize, can't read. So, how do you do this? So we just like probably because Joel and I are naturally problem solvers. Like if you come to us and say something, we just go into like problem solving.
I think every married man.
Like our wives love it, so it's great when we do that. But
sometimes the missus they don't want you to solve the problem. They just want you to listen. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Like
so
you're
way too logical here. Yeah. You're taking the fun out of me complaining right now.
Yeah, you're like got 5-6 businesses and brands and all that stuff. But when it comes to an argument or a conversation with your wife, you're like, I'm a novice here. I'm out of my.
Like people, like they're the hardest things to understand. Like we're both very curious people and problem solvers. We'll just pick stuff up, try work it out, play with it.
Yeah.
That works. This doesn't. And that's where, because we are an AI tool, and that. It doesn't matter how you present it to the actual software, it'll read it, what it needs to read, it'll work out what it's reading, all that sort of stuff. And like you're saying, we were almost not going to mention that it's AI, just because it's been so dragged through the mud. Every dog and
and here's the thing, because I went through New York FinTech Week, and I went through all these pitch competitions and all this kind of stuff, and literally every second business is like something.ai, something.ai, this AI or AI that. And it's like, okay, we need to start delineating between somebody who's just a consumer of AI, I just consume whatever the latest model is, GPT-5 or otherwise, or I'm actually building a product that solves problems, and AI is part of that problem solving, but not the whole thing.
Yeah,
because
right.
like if you're, oh yeah, I've got this AI chatbot, but for blah blah blah. Like the amount of times I've heard that, I'm like, we don't need more chatbots. Like we got enough chatbots out there,
Yeah.
and
I'm always
anyway.
curious about that because why do businesses do that? Like why? And we're sort of using a consultant that's built to solve businesses and things before, and I was like, why do people do that? And he's saying, well, like you've got to actually look behind the business that's actually making the announcement. So maybe they're trying to get budget. You know, if they're a large business, trying to get budget to grow their tool, or perhaps they're trying to sell something else, and the AI is just a bit of a hook. You know, it could be like a lead magnet.
It's to help them raise capital, help them inflate their valuation. They look at which fields have lots of funding from venture capital firms and private equity pouring into them, and that's what it is. These people are pitching to VCs, and so by having AI in there, but what they don't realize is that like now they're like VCs are like, some of them are like, oh wow, AI, but like most of them are like totally numb to it now. It's like, no, I don't care what your business name is or how you think you use AI. Show me what problem you're solving, and show me your go-to-market strategy. Show me how you're going to get customers. Show me how this makes me money as a VC. But you know, it's the same thing. The reason why businesses do it is for those reasons, so they can get capital, and then like they think their problems are solved. They don't actually have customers yet, and then, so they think that, you know, saying that it's got AI, but customers don't always care that it's AI or not AI or technology or a pad and quill old school style. Like, does it solve the problem for me? And if it does, great. And I'm finding myself be a little bit turned off it because I see it all the time, and I'm on a tech panel at the moment with the FBAA, and it's like every speaker, like somebody's a marketing expert and they're getting up there talking about marketing, and they talk about AI. Like, you don't need to talk about AI if it's not your field of expertise. Don't need to. But everybody's positioning themselves as it because it's like, it's almost like the new get rich quick scheme. That's what it is. It's like before
it was NFTs.
It was exactly. So I kind of walked through it. Social media was like that. There was all these experts on social media, like when social media was new, and like, here's how you make money on social media. And then after social media, you had like crypto and blockchain and all this, and then it was NFTs, and then it was like, there's always a new thing that people are like, oh, that's the next big thing. And AI currently is that, and there's a lot of signal because there's some amazing capabilities of this technology. And everybody's entitled to use it. My point is, like, it's like saying we use the internet in our business. It's like, if you're creating a business now and you're not thinking about ways that this might be able to help your business, you're almost like, you're off to a bad start. I'll put it that way. But there's a difference between an AI native company, a company that has like, is totally necessary. Everything they do, all their planning, everything is about how do we solve problems, and AI is a function of that, because they're really complex problems. They require lots of automation, lots of reasoning, lots of thinking, and you can't really do that at scale with humans. Like, you just need to keep throwing humans at the problem, and then that doesn't ultimately decouple your expenses from your revenue. And so there's that. I think some businesses are just saying, we use AI, and they're like literally just using ChatGPT to like help them write emails and stuff. Like, you're not an AI company if you do that. You're a company that is just using the equivalent of the internet. Like, you're not an AI company.
Because all we want to do is we want to solve the problem of self-employed income. We thought that was the biggest problem. That was not the biggest problem, but it's the most complex task. So it's the most complex task in our role. And we were like, man, it just takes too long. It's probably not fair, because like, we didn't do this, but we would speak to lenders, and they were basically treating the term Joel used for as the redheaded stepchild. No offense to Reddit people, but it's just like, honestly, self-employed, like they avoid it. Or they go, oh, you know what, PAYGQ, it's 2 business days. Self-employed's 15. You're like,
we're
crazy.
definitely driven. It was a passion project. It was like, this is not good enough, that business owners kind of have to go through that. I just on the AI, and I know it gets talked to death, but I'm just very curious to ask you the question: Do you see AI taking over a lot of jobs to the point where unemployment is, goes up to? Where do you see the future, I guess, in the next sort of 10 years?
Man, it's a very powerful question, and I've got some opinions on this. But the thing is, ultimately, there will be a point where, like, the reason we have, there's supply and demand, right? Just basic economics. If people are out of jobs, the demand decreases.
Yeah.
True? Mm-hmm. So at what point is that? Is that at 5% unemployment? Is that at 10? Is it at 15? Is it at 25%? Like depression level stuff? The need for AI is to satisfy demand at scale. If there's no demand, like,
what do you think?
What's AI doing, right? Yeah. And
it's a great perspective, yeah.
Yeah. So I always have these conversations with our CTO because, like, he's a really deep thinker, and we, sort of think about these things and talk about these things. But man, I'll give you an example. We are still far away from AGI, and I did some AI webinars and talking about AI and how specific ways that brokers can use it in their business. And in that there's a segment on like how I think AI is going to play out over the next 5-10 years. AGI, like artificial general intelligence, artificial super intelligence, what the thresholds for those things are and kind of what it means. And I said, most people are guessing that we'll have AGI in less than 5 years. And I said, wait for GPT-5 to come out, because Sam Altman was hyping the fuck out of it. And
it's not bad, actually. Have you used it?
I've used it, and I'll tell you, like, we are so far away from AGI. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Like
but it's better than 4. I guess.
It's better than 4, and it's one of the better models, if not the best model out there at the moment. But like, there are, like, for example, I went to this retreat last week with Cub,
right.
and I took lots of notes from the speaker, and then I got the notes and I said, can you transcribe, like, turn my handwriting into text, and I want you to build on some of these concepts and reference these books and assume you've read them and you understand all the concepts in the books. Just elaborate it, because I wanted to share it with my team and go, here's my learnings and blah, blah, blah. But I wrote notes in short form because like, it's hard to follow along if you're writing every word that's being said, and you just lose track. And you anyway. And so I said, do that. And it said, yeah, no worries, putting this all together with you. It'll take 1 to 2 hours and I'll come back in this chat. Like,
deep research?
No, not deep research. Just putting it all together and creating images and diagrams and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it asked me tons of questions, and so I was like,
so
actually, this feels good. Like, this feels intelligent.
Yeah.
It's not just assuming and downloading shit on me. It's actually asking me heaps of questions, and I was impressed. And I was like, fuck, this feels smarter.
Yeah.
I was talking to our CTO, and then it said 1 to 2 hours. Like, I still haven't got it. It's like last week. So I still haven't got it, and so we're far away from AGI. But I said in those calls, like, wait for GPT-5 to come out, because then I'll have a better indication on when I think we're at a level where humans are going to start losing jobs really fast. Now, I do think AI agents will replace jobs. Like, we're already seeing that our headcount is like totally flat. It's not really growing. And there's a lot of businesses that are the same. There's a lot of businesses that are looking to see what automations they can build with AI agents. But there's a lot of sort of misunderstandings and misconceptions about AI agents. And, they still need tools. Like you can connect an AI agent to Gmail and get it to read your Gmail and, like, get it to read your email, and then sort of draft responses. But, like, those are generic tools. That's not really the role of a broker. That's just like a subset of a broker's role.
Did it save you time? Because I know it might produce a better email than what you wrote or what somebody would be able to write, but did it actually replace a job or take a significant amount of time?
No, and the answer is not really.
Because they were never going to write an email that comprehensive, in the first place. So I don't know.
And my style of communication is like the least amount of words possible, and like, unless I'm writing something external, but like. Most of my communications would be like internal, right? I'm not really doing custom. Like, I don't do loans myself anymore, right? So it's like internal or partnership discussions is like mostly what I communicate on. And but they still need tools, and brokers use very specific industry specific tools, and AI agents haven't really adopted those tools And that's one of the reasons why we built that MCP capability into Synapses, so that people could build AI agents and go and run a credit check and go do things that actually go and run credit assessment on a deal, go and calculate income or serviceability. And so there's still a while before that's going to, start really replacing. And I think the low-hanging fruit would be look at the tasks that brokers currently offshore. And I think those are the first ones that will go. Brokers will start being able to onshore them again because like they're all fully automated or 90% automated. Now they just need to like have one last review, press send, or click the submit button or whatever it is that needs to be done. But yeah, I think fundamentally I need to sort of see at what point that demand curve starts to diminish, because then, you can automate everything in your business, but if you've got no customers that can afford to pay for your service, then what, And I think that's where we're going to be into some uncharted territory, stuff that we've never seen before, because you can have a business that doesn't matter if you do mortgages or you sell products instead of a service. If nobody can afford to buy those products because no one has jobs, how do we
get
do
more
that?
demand in different markets? Like if you have a shrinking of these automated jobs, like just say accounting gets automated. Okay, there's less people working in accounting, but maybe now they got more time. There's more demand in a different area, so those jobs go there.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? There's a
That's
little,
right. Now
there's
they've
a
got
little
free
theme
time
park
and
down the
they
road
join
now.
the jiu-jitsu gym.
Yeah,
And so now we
more
need more
jiu-jitsu
jiu-jitsu
gyms.
instructors.
Yeah.
Like it could be just stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
well, if you think
it's hard
like,
to know.
I mean, the Coles self-checkout and farms that would have 100 people working, now they've got one or two guys on a tractor, but unemployment has plummeted, since we were out working in the farms. So there's a lot of industry, there's a lot of efficiencies created. I would love to see like a 4-day work week. So instead of taking 20% of the jobs that exist, taking 20% of your week. I mean, imagine, like I'm a little bit more optimistic in that, I love the thought of spending more time with my son and actually going and doing other things. Like, I love being a business owner, but it's not me as a person. I'm a father, I'm a friend, I'm a brother, that sort of thing. So, I do like the other side of it that you can actually enjoy. And I think, as humans, the biggest fear we have is that we attach value to our job, and losing that is almost like losing a piece of ourselves. And so I think things like the metaverse, which I think it's died off a little bit, but things like that I think will come back, and you'll have an identity, but it's just going to be online or something.
Directed somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think it is still very concerning, because a lot of people, their job is their purpose, and they haven't really had to. You see it with athletes, right? They're the number one, right? It's like they finish their career and then they're like, what the hell do I do? Like I'm a rugby league player. We were talking about NRL before. Like, could be a UFC fighter, doesn't know what to do. They end up spiraling because they haven't actually, they haven't figured out their purpose post whatever it is. And there will be a lot of that, I think. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of mental health issues and people like just totally lost. Don't know what to do now that my job's been automated. And then there'll be some people who are constantly adapting, because it is going to be a slow process. I don't believe, and I'll say this on record now, LLMs are not going to be what gives us AGI. No. I don't believe it is. And we're seeing that now, we've kind of reached, I'm not going to say the upper limit, because there's still lots of room for improvement, but we're starting, like there's diminishing return now. The jump between GPT-3 and GPT-4 or GPT 3.5 to 4 was huge. It was like, oh my God, this is so much. And the jump between GPT 4.0 and GPT-5, it's a jump and it feels smarter and it seems to perform better, but it's not like the earlier jumps, and when we went from like virtually nothing to, Chat GPT when it first launched, people were like, this is insane. This is like magic. It was like when cavemen discovered fire for the first time, and that literally, my CTO made that joke the other day. There was a broker at this Brokerverse AI event in Melbourne. Right.
Brokerverse AI.
Brokerverse AI, and so that was being hosted in Melbourne, and we were like a speaker at that event talking about our technology and how it helps brokers, etc. But it was like a workshop style. It was held at AWS, like Amazon's office, and it was like desks, not like a theater style setup. It was like a classroom style setup, and they're like, we're going to take you through and show you how to use these tools, and you're going to put an input and you're going to see the response, but you're going to put your business stuff in there. And there was a broker that logged in, never subscribed to ChatGPT, still never used it, hasn't used it. And he was sitting right next to our CTO. And so he opens his laptop, subscribes to ChatGPT, starts putting the prompts, and he said it was like he was discovering fire the first time. He was just blown away.
Wow.
And so that is, if you haven't used it and then you use it, you're like, yeah, wow. But there are so many things that humans do intuitively that LLMs are currently not demonstrating.
Is it the right tool as well? Because there's lots of different type or tools in AI. There's machine learning, and there's LLMs, and there's everything else.
Yeah.
Whereas an LLM might not be the right tool. Like screwdrivers and nails look similar, but I'm not going to get a hammer to put a screw in. Hammer's a good tool, but it's not the right thing for a screw, and a screwdriver's not the right thing for a nail. They look the same, but they're not the right answer.
So an AI-powered screw is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I know, the point was AI's going to screw us.
Screw.ai, registered domain. The domain's registered.
Yeah, just take a photo and it'll tell you exactly what tool to use for that screw.
So that's my thoughts on it. I think there will be a point, and I don't know what that point is, but there's going to be a point where the demand sharply diminishes, and then businesses are going to go what do we, but businesses are going to be part of the problem too, right? Because they're the ones that are trying to replace jobs, but that's driven by other things as well. Like how many people talk about the new generation and the fact they don't want to work and they have unrealistic expectations, and ultimately automating everybody out of a job is not how businesses should be looking at it. They should be looking at how do we, with our existing resources, scale our business and find more opportunities. And hopefully that leads to more jobs. I'm not thinking about my business how do I keep my headcount exactly the same. I want to scale our business, but I want it to scale accordingly. So we can have, instead of having two times return on every employee, as an example, if I can generate 5 times return per employee, that means I will still be able to hire more people and create more jobs, but my revenue is going to grow at a much greater rate than the amount of people I need to put on. And that's just to improve the economies of the business, the scale of the business. Or maybe I can accelerate the growth by 5x using the tech. And so it may not, totally replace the need for humans at all. It may just mean that we need to hire more people and more fast. But
consumption always grows, doesn't it? I mean, if you look at Coles, right? I remember when I was young, then we would go to Franklin's Wetherill Park, and you'd only go once a week, and you would absolutely pack your trolley, and you'd stand in a queue for half an hour or something like that sometimes, depending on the day that you go there, right? And so it's one trip. It's you do it for the week, and then that's it. You don't go back there. Now you might go there daily or every couple of days, and so you're driving your car there, so you're using petrol and you're using your car, wear and tear and parking, and maybe paying for parking, and then maybe, because if you're like me and you're always forgetting your bag, you got to buy the paper bags every time. And so last night we didn't have dishwasher tablets. I just jumped on Uber and got it delivered. So then there's that guy's job, or guy or girl's job. Once again, petrol, the motorbike he rode, all of that stuff. It's people just consume more. Cheaper things are.
Yeah, have you seen those graphs where they show energy consumption? Like they have all these new forms of energy, and it doesn't actually change the existing energy. We keep using the same, and then we keep using the new stuff too. So it's actually all these green and new forms of energy. It's not bringing consumption down and making it more green. It's actually we're just adding it all on. So we're using the same electricity from coal, and then you're adding on the wind turbines, and you're adding on everything else. Yeah. It's just adding it. So we're just using more
demands are definitely
and more.
going up.
Even though we're getting smarter and smarter at making it, it's getting more.
Well, this is the other thing to consider: the cost of AI, and the more complex it gets. And I get we always find more efficient ways, but the cost is increasing significantly with these more advanced models. So there will be a point where it's kind of, it will always. I believe it will always be cheaper than humans, but it will be that
Well, let's say for example, right now people are, let's say they're paying for the enterprise ChatGPT, a couple $100 a month, and they're also paying for per call or whatever. Let's say their AI costs are $1,000 a month, and let's say that using that service, it could reduce or replace, say, 2 employees, let's just say they're low-level, entry-level style roles, and they're 60K a year. There's 5K a month plus super plus potentially payroll tax
and management
and the mistakes they make and all the rest of it, opportunity cost. If OpenAI tomorrow, if you're using it to replace those roles, if OpenAI said tomorrow, hey, we're actually going to 5x the cost,
it's still worth it. Yeah,
it's still cheaper than the 2 employees that it replace, and so to some degree they will have more and more control over that. But I think the fact that there is quite a few competitors, and what I'm loving is they're all like tit for tat. Like Gemini launches their new model, that's now the best one. Grok, super heavy. To me personally, I feel like the interactions that I've had, and very limited because I actually don't use a lot of the LLM stuff like just on my day-to-day basis. I am scared that people rely on it to think now. I do think that and there's an MIT study that supports that, where it's like if you don't do leg day for a while, like you get muscle atrophy, and it's the same with your brain. If you're not using it, it's one of the leading causes for Alzheimer's. People stop using their brain, and so there's things that you can do and puzzles and whatever that keep your brain challenged. Oftentimes when people lose a spouse, when they're at that age where they could be susceptible to Alzheimer's accelerates very fast. And I mean, I don't know. I like to think every now and again, like I'll use it and I'm like, oh, this could save me so much time. I could handwrite all of this out or type all of this out, just produce 80% of it, and then I'll go in and fix the rest of it. Or like this notes thing. Nobody can read my handwriting. I struggle to read my own handwriting. And sometimes if I need somebody to read it, I'll write in caps just to make it more legible. But Grok, super heavy, the $500 a month one, that to me feels like the closest thing to making me believe in sort of these things as intelligence versus probability, because the way they work is predictive of the next word, right? That to me, when I used it, I don't know, I haven't used it in a little while, but when I used that seemed to me like it felt smart. And when GPT-5 was asking me all those questions, it felt smart. I was like, oh, and do you want to do this and do that? Or do you want it to be generic, or do you want it to be tailored to loan options? And I was like, generic. And do you want the graph to be like this, or do you want it to be like that? And I was like, okay, it's actually thinking.
Yeah.
And the reasoning capabilities seemed really good. But then when it didn't produce what I was asking, and it kept telling me, oh, now it's only minutes away. And then it was like, I'll check in 6 hours again and go, where are we up to?
Thousands of minutes. But it is true.
But yeah, it told me 1 to 2 hours, and I still haven't got it. And that was over the weekend that I did that. So we're talking about 5 or 6 days that it's been, still haven't got it. So that to me, I'm like, oh, we're so far away from AGI. Like,
Well,
your jobs are safe. Don't worry. Your jobs are safe.
And our tool's not going to replace jobs either. We'll make it more efficient, which is the whole point in the first place. But yeah, because we just thought it was totally unfair.
What we're most excited about, because
explain accurately. Tell it. Give us the pitch. Tell us the story of what it's going to do for lenders in the way they assess deals, what it does for brokers, and whoever else you're sort of aiming this product at.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess continue on from that spreadsheet story where Ben was like, there's 180 fields here that matter. And when I say 180 things, innocuous things like healthcare, child support, number of dependents. If an application gets done and you go, no healthcare expenses, and the healthcare expense on the tax return, and that's the other thing that like pisses us off. It's like a salaried person doesn't have to present their tax return, so there could be lots of things in there that they haven't declared, and we certainly wouldn't encourage anyone to not declare those things. But you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. They could have just thought, I don't have to, it's not important or whatever, right? So a self-employed person, they find that stuff as well. And Ben's like, because the lender looks at it, we have to look at it as well. And then, so we're back and forth, and we're like, how do we automate this? And then, AI, the OCR readers were getting better, and we sort of played around with that a little bit. And the good thing is tax returns are templated. So we said this would be, low-hanging fruit in a way. It's still incredibly complex, but it's much more accurate at picking the info. You don't need it like an LLM to translate the meaning of the thing, which in some banks, or especially in the asset finance world, they need financials, right? You kind of need to do that. Whereas in broking, a lot of the banks we deal with, they need tax returns as well. And so it reads all of that, and then it runs it through How many checks was 3,000 steps or something?
It's like there's all these checks because everything matters to this, and then once you get to companies, it's also cross-referencing, like basically your individual tax return has stuff that relates to the company and vice versa. So yeah, it's thousands. I didn't think there was any point counting further, but we looked at it and it's thousands.
Yeah, Ben was just sitting there just mapping this thing out. Like his eyes literally turned rectangle. He was just staring at the screen.
Well, it's like an exponential curve. Like it's an exponent. Like you have, let's say, one field and then one possible variation. It's like, okay, it's 1 times 1. And then you end up with like, say, 180 fields and there's 180 times 180, like times 180 times, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
The potential variations.
You've got 2 years, so you double it. And then it's just like, and then if you
how many entities and all the other variations too.
Yeah, so it's like, you actually, oh wow, this is actually much bigger than I thought. Because like, when we sat down and be like, step this out, like we're speaking and Joel's like, okay, so what do you do when you look at this? What do you do? I'm trying to map out, like I just do this here, but how'd you get there? And you don't realize subconsciously there's like, oh, how'd you know that? Oh, because this other thing over here. And you're like, oh, that's why it didn't matter in this case, but it mattered in this case. And so you have to actually map out every single, it matters, you know, bang, bang, all the variables. There's thousands of checks.
Like you know, say I want to go take a drink of water. I didn't really think about it. I just grabbed it and went it. But what happened is you feel the dryness in your mouth, and then it sends a signal to your brain like I need water, and then your muscle twitches here and it goes there, and then you grab the water, and there's millions of steps that actually happens for you, and you would know this with what you're building, that you actually have to step all of those things out to get it done properly. You've got to step all of those things out into the app or into a process. And so that was fun. I don't know, I haven't told Ben this. If I knew what it was going to be like, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, it's definitely a naivety, which I hear so often. We were so naive going into it.
And it always costs more than twice as what you initially think, and takes more than double the time that you think it's going to take. You know, a lot of people do that. I can build that. It's like, can you though? You know, it's fucking hard, man.
Especially if you want to do it the right way.
You
don't want to cut corners. You go, well, if I'm going to do this, I'll do it properly.
Yeah.
But we're hoping, and so what it does is then it once it goes through all those decisions, it then spits out a report, and then it gives you notes, and so notes you can like submit with your application to the lender. It gives you some policy kind of nous, sort of say you've got to check this, ask this, and do this. Our goal is to plug it through an API into Quickly, so that it can sort of do the servicing automatically. So our dream and our goal and our mission really is that nobody has to really look at the tax return. They just upload it, scans it all in, plugs in it quickly, and they can go, yep, that's where I'm going from here.
Yeah.
What we would really love is to actually drive lender behaviour. So one of the big, Ben was touching on this before, one of the big issues with, and the reason why, you know, Pepper and Liberty and Latrobe and those guys do so well with self-employed, and you were saying this as well, is they take the time to understand the application, but they charge a little bit more for that, and the banks don't really want to get into that whole rate for risk situation. A lot of people are very surprised to hear that the banks charge the exact same for someone self-employed as they do if they're PAYG, but they do 5 times the work to assess it. If you don't feel sorry for the banks after that, I mean, come on, like, what was it, $10 billion?
Yeah,
like,
$10 billion profit.
Yeah, they just need a little bit more.
I'm a catalyst. I'm a capitalist, and I think you know, just the thought of $10 billion profit for a lot of people, like, they don't need to make that much money. But I do think with CBA, when they exhibit the sort of the greedy behavior, I'm not a greedy person, so that kind of is what turns people off. I don't think it's the fact that, you know, they're the largest company in the country now, not just the largest bank, they're the largest company in the country. So I think that's what turns people off. They're actively trying to subvert the broker channel and cut them out, and their marketing for that unloaned product is you know, very aggressive and provocative.
Very overt.
And for that and that's that exact reason why we will win this battle. I mean, I don't think it's a battle, because like the brokers are way better than what a banker can offer. I'm sorry to say, but you exactly that attitude that you're saying is the reason why they'll never succeed at wrestling back.
People can smell the desperation, right?
Definitely.
I think, you know, but I do know that like just based on how much money they're investing in AI, and they just yesterday or the day before announced a partnership with OpenAI directly. Like brokers should be cautious and should be aware, and I think they do need to look at technologies like yours and Quickly and us and all the others that are building great tools and tech in the industry. A lot of the best tools that I have seen are tools that were built by brokers.
Absolutely.
That is a key, and anybody that wants to work with us, if it's a broker built technology, I love that. I love that so much, because we understand the pain points. Like, yes, you could go and use ChatGPT, or you could go and use these other things and connect to the APIs and try, but like those companies, they're not specialist companies. They're offering a very generic product that you're trying to adapt, whereas this is a specialist, purpose-built product that's designed to solve a very specific point.
Well, we are the customers. Like we live in this day in, day out with the same problem that we're solving.
And do you know who's more annoyed with the process than mortgage brokers? The
Customers,
clients.
yeah.
And they get forgotten all the time, like, there are some brokers out there, and I still think it's better than a bank, but there's some brokers out there, they choose, 2 or 3 lenders, and they're happy to do that. And if the customer falls into one of those, great. And if they don't, sorry, but they still have a sticker with, 30 lenders on their door. So that's a bit disappointing, I guess. But people come to brokers for that choice and that service and that advice. So it's, but if they don't use tools like what you're building, they got one arm behind the back, because you can go on. I won't give them a plug, actually. There's one bank that's like, if you go online and you fit, like, it's probably less than 0.1% of customers, but you can get approved instantly, and it's like a significantly cheaper rate than what their other products are. So it doesn't, obviously it doesn't really appeal to everyone, but we got to take notice. We've got to make sure that, we're efficient and we can compete.
That's where it's going, and it's not just the big yellow bank, right? It's like all of them are doing it. Some of them are doing it more discreetly. Some are doing it more respectfully. Like, they're entitled to have more than one channel, right? They are businesses in their own right. The broker channel is by far the best for the customer. And the way that they positioned it, and there was some absolute propaganda. I don't care. Anybody with half a brain cell can read that article and know exactly what that is. But it was in the AFR, and it spoke about how the banks were saying that in order to drive rates down, they need to come direct to the bank, because they have to pay the broker's commission and all this kind of stuff. And if they could avoid paying the broker's commission, they would be able to drop rates.
They actually released something in their investor report the other day. I found it's funny, is they go, we're not bashing banks either, because they have the same headaches that brokers have, that it takes longer, it's more difficult and complex. So we understand, like, we're about the process more than the bank or the broker. It's the process. But they said that the proprietary, the direct channel is 20 to 30% more profitable, which is why I want to chase it. But I'm like, aren't you passing on the savings though?
What do you mean? The profit. This is the thing. It's not more costly to do a broker loan at all. It's not. We brokers give them the exact loan application. Yeah. Have you seen the new AMP system?
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Was a partnership with Sympology, right?
And Fortiro. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. But the broker has to do more work now. Like, they've got to do more verification steps so that the bank gets it in this nice, perfect little thing. And it's great. Once again, customer experience is the most important, so they can get a quicker approval. But more is being passed on to the broker in that. We're trying to, obviously reduce the workload.
We're just trying to make everything faster. That's all we're trying to do, simpler, faster. Because we think it is the most complex thing, and people will ask us, why are you doing that? Like, why wouldn't you do something simpler? And we think, it's probably less risk doing the hardest thing. Yeah. If you do the hardest thing first, people are running to the closest thing, the closest win.
Right. Right. The lowest thing.
100 people, more capital going there. They're going to knock
themselves out fighting over this.
We'll go here. Yeah. We'll go over there. And
this is like the bar to entry is the highest with a project that you guys have picked.
It's probably the last thing they pick up.
How many people, like, I'm gonna say it, but there's a lot of companies now that are doing policy research tools, right?
Yeah.
And like, I kid you not.
Have you tried to build one? Like, we have
one. We hardly advertise it because we're embarrassed with the level of quality that what's out there in the industry, and we don't even want to be associated with that. We have Ask Hailo, and we've been building it for 2 years.
It's really hard to do right. If you would,
I'll explain.
Yeah.
there are limitations with LLMs,
Yeah.
and people are just like, oh, this RAG architecture. And I know like a lot of companies have tried and given up on the project, and they'll tell you because the quality is so shit with the normal traditional RAG architecture, the retrieval augmentation process. Like what they do is they just upload the PDFs for the lender credit policies, and then they allow the LLM to interpret after it's been put into a vector database, like vectorized. And the issue with it is, if you upload 1 or 2 policies, context window is fine. It can handle it. You upload 5, 10 policies, it's still okay. You upload 50 banks, 70 banks, 90 banks, lenders credit policies, context window can't handle it.
Yeah.
And so when it breaks them down into these chunks, and I want you to think of it as like a street directory. As soon as you mention a word in the natural language, it goes and finds it and says almost like D5. We recognize that word or that phrase in D5. But oftentimes, because they're in chunks, you catch a little bit of this sentence, but then the next one it doesn't capture.
Yeah.
And so that's the most simple way that I can explain it. It's absolute junk. It causes hallucination. Policy accuracy is not great. We've been doing this for like over 2 years, and we never advertised the product because it was helpful, but it wasn't that great. Probably about 12 months ago, we found a breakthrough, and it's not using this architecture at all. It's a non-traditional RAG architecture, and that was the only way that we could get good results out of it without hallucinations, without issues with context window, etc. But like, it's not a key. It's never going to be the biggest line item in our revenue. So we're not like trying to, because what we'll do is we'll wait for a lot of these people to try and fail, and we'll go up against any one of them and show people the capability that we can build on it. And it's not to bag them, but like, man, I had somebody come to me the other day and said, oh, I really loved your thing on AI, blah, blah, blah. It was really cool. I'm also building something in AI. I'd love to talk to you about it. So I book a meeting in my calendar. He comes and sits in front of me and he says, yeah, I'm building this policy thing. I found out that you could put it into ChatGPT and then like, you can ask questions. And I was like, hey man, like, this is not new. And he was like, almost like surprised. Like he thought he stumbled onto this most original idea. And it's a little bit naive from some people to think that that's an original idea. People have been doing that for years now. And even if you just upload some PDFs into ChatGPT, you can still get some use out of it. It's not hating on that, but it's not a SaaS product. Like, let me be clear. If all you're doing is just relying on an LLM to interpret a PDF document or something like that, that's not a SaaS product. Anybody can do that. You don't even need to be technical founder or technical, you don't even need to have technical expertise. Where I think people are falling short is they're forgetting that there should be an engineering layer between that and the LLMs. Like if it's just, it's not a product. Like it's you're not.
And what happens to the data with that as well? It's like you can put in general data, but it's just like we get very concerned when we hear people saying, like we saw someone saying they've completely automated.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and like, oh yeah,
the para broker thing.
Just like I don't want to. I'm not rag, but I'm just like, just throw their income in, like throw their income documents,
throw their credit file, throw their
straight into ChatGPT. I'm like,
that's crazy.
Like we tried it out using
we did
fake ones.
Fake tax returns for
so we
our
just got
projects.
an empty form and put in fake data, like Ben John Street, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
and we just threw that in, and it didn't. But
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
had
like,
10,000 loss.
I'm just like,
but
I
it read 120,000 profit and some other random thing.
I was like,
and we're
no,
like,
it said,
what?
it was a $9,000 loss, but it said 120 grand profit. But it's more so about the concern about this is probably a question. What happens to the data that goes into there? Like, can then people call on that like it's a open?
Well, they use it to train, so it's not like somebody can like necessarily
kind of access it. Yeah, because I was like, oh my god, I hope
it could
this
be a
cannot
future hallucination.
accessed.
For someone else asking a question, and that hallucination is actually somebody's sensitive financial data. Like that's the problem is like we haven't seen that part unfold yet. And here's the thing: some clients right now are using ChatGPT and things like that as their therapists and all of that. Like, if you're doing it for your own data and you're aware of the potential risks of doing that. That's on you, but you shouldn't be doing this with your client's data. You definitely shouldn't be doing this with your client's data. So when you have an enterprise account, you can request 0 data retention and all that kind of stuff. But like these people are doing it on free or $20 a month accounts. You're not getting 0 data retention on those accounts. And they're using it to train their models. And so you're putting PII data Like some people, just upload the credit file in there and
so
it'll read
concerning.
everything.
And saying
Like,
that
it's
publicly
it's
is a bit of a worry. Like,
But some people were like, "This sounds amazing. He's offering it for free. I'll get a DM," and then it's just a Chat GPT project. Like that is
because our biggest concern
we have
is
to be so
data.
careful, because what will happen, I'll tell you what will happen, and this is what I'm most concerned about, is you have people that don't actually know what they're doing, and they're sort of they open the Pandora's box, and then ASIC comes in and says, you know what, brokers have shown they can't be responsible with AI. They're not allowed to use it, and then the banks are the only ones that can use it, because ASIC's advocating for banks to use AI. There's a recent thing that I saw.
That.
They want the banks to use it, but they're going to wait for like a scapegoat moment. The banks will lean into it and go, yeah, brokers can't use
they're
it.
driving it.
And they'll push ASIC. Yeah, they're driving it, right? They'll push ASIC to ban the use of AI in broker intermediary transactions, or limit it. You know, if they can't ban it, they'll limit it. And then, you know, we're going to be stuck doing things the old way, you know, like not physically pen and paper, but figuratively speaking, pen and paper style. And the banks get this amazing technology that's super disruptive and provides lightning fast decisions, etc. And it'll be because someone's uploading, you know, a full credit file into a free or, you know, a not safe version of these LLMs. Like, please, if you're listening to this, don't do that. If you want to use it to bounce an idea off, or if you want to use it with de-identified data, you know, that's a much safer way. Don't upload real client data in there. That's just insanity. It's so dangerous to do that, and you're putting your client's information at risk.
It's not great anyway. I mean, I don't think the value that it provides is anywhere near worth the risk in the first place.
Here's the other thing. If you think your point of difference is a $20 subscription that every consumer has access to, then, like...
It's not defensible.
Well, no. Like, think about it like this. If it's so good that you're so proud of it that $20, your customers have access to that same tool. So what do they need you for?
Yeah.
True?
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah,
like, that's the thing. It's like these proprietary, like how many hours, if you were to estimate, that you guys have put, and don't give it an exact dollar amount, but we're talking tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of man hours and investment in technology. Would I be correct?
Yeah, we know the amount. But
Lots of money.
It's a lot.
It's a small house. Yeah.
So a product like that takes like a proper enterprise
and it's so small. Like, the thing is like they're saying that it solves all of these things. Like, we're only literally solving self-employed for residential.
Narrow but deep. Yeah.
Like the issue we have as well, I mean, a little bit outside of what you're saying, but with those policy tools, I think they're a great idea. I think they're a really good start. I tried to do it with Ingest.ai a few years ago, and it was really hard to do. So, like, hats off to anyone that sort of tries to do it. I think Scenario separated each bank policy, and so it'll only call into sort of one at a time. And we used it, and it was all right. You know, it was. Anyway, I won't go into too much more than that, but the problem is, what we believe the problem is, then you still have to know to ask. Yeah. So you go like, will you accept studio apartments? It's like, how did you know studio apartments was an issue in the first place? So with what you're building, for example, and what we're intending to for the self-employed anyway, you're actually picking up the information as it's being entered and going, that's a problem, that's an issue, and then once you've done that, you then kind of have to use almost that RAG style thing to put it into, like, I need something that does this, and then it will flow through and go, these are your lenders are available. It's really difficult to do that, but the problem is if you put then words into a policy check and you say, who does this? And it goes, da-da-da-da. Now I've got to go and do something with that information. So I had to know to put it in there in the first place. And now I've got to somehow manipulate the information.
There's a lot of grey too. It's like not everything you need to consider is in black and white policy. There's a lot of grey, a lot of if this then that, and then they go, we need to see the whole deal to make a call or whatever. Yeah. So there's a lot of grey that you can't actually account for, which is what we account. Like, our tool will tell you what to go and check in policy. So it goes, there's these 4 things, check this, and we actually have a toggling system where it's like, if you're not including that income or that add back or whatever, it doesn't apply, you're not going to use it. then there's no need to check, because we're trying to save you time. We're not going to tell you to do everything under the sun if you don't need to do it.
But there's 27 output fields of potential income and add backs.
And
FBT,
every lender
Div
looks at it
7A.
differently.
Every lender like the crazy part is like we would call the lenders and ask like, hey, how do you treat Div 7A? And they're like, what's that? Like, and that's okay. Like, why would they know? They why should they know? I suppose. But then you're kind of like, well, if you don't know, how the hell am I supposed to? Yeah, well, like, how am I? If you don't know what the policy is, how am I supposed to put in an application? And
the other thing is their credit policies aren't very detailed either, right? And that's the problem with the policy check. It's like,
on purpose.
Exactly.
They're trying to hide it from competitors and whatever else. But those Scenario and the others, right? Not to single anyone out, but the limitations that they have is like garbage in, garbage out. Like if you only have a certain amount of thing. And personally, I think, not talking about our own, but the one that's got the most rich data, the problem is just the user interface and people trying to navigate it is like Catherine's the broker Bible, because she's created so much. Like there's the policy, and then there's like videos and content and stuff that she's created that educates layers and layers deeper than the policy.
Wow. Is that the one that's sold to LMG?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Congrats to her. She's worked so hard. So
amazing,
I'm really proud of
because
her.
we want these things to go awesome, because that makes brokers' lives.
Yeah, but
another
another piece of broker created tech.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
another piece. Just she knows the pain points. She knows the limitations with the policies and how they don't list everything.
And at least LMG admits it. Because there's some aggregators out there that will...
Well, there's one that just debuted their policy. And again, it's not... Because I like the people at this aggregator. Like, I like them. And we've had like lots of great dealings with them. And there's great people there. But the choice to go and build that, and then like everybody I've spoken to says it's absolute dog shit. Like it doesn't... And then they go and sign up to a competing thing.
Exactly.
How about as an aggregator focus on making a good CRM, a good core platform with compliance built in and follow-ups and trail book management and all the stuff that is like central to a broker.
Yeah.
And then just integrate with platforms like yours, integrate with platforms like Quickly, instead of trying, we don't need any more serviceability calculators.
Yeah.
Quickly's got it, they do a great job.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to tack on or add to it or build, things over to the side of it that leverage it or whatever, great. I'm sure that those guys will be like open to doing collaborations and whatever else. The key thing is when, as an industry, we can't just go, okay, this is a reasonably priced product. We have a problem, and whether it's ego or anything else, this is a reasonably priced product, and it's safe and it's secure, and they've got a great reputation and their support's great. Let's just leverage that. We won't do that. We're like, we can build one better, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why it is.
I can't remember who posted this. It was one of the aggregators, and like, cause it's actually pretty common. There's like not lots of nice people building like Quickly Legends. The Scenario, I haven't spoken to Scenario, but he seems like a good guy.
Yeah, I've been on the
yourself,
like FBAA tour with him. Nice guy. Nice guy. Even though we have like a competing product, like nice guy. I talk to him. If there was a way to collaborate with them, we would.
Yeah.
And just like they would,
which makes it easier for us, because like it's good.
If
you
somebody
want to
really
deal with each other, or is it like, oh, I've got to speak to this guy?
If somebody built the best policy tool that was better than what we could deliver, we would stop building that and just license theirs.
Because we think the same way, but there was someone called out, so you never have to use Quickly again. And I was like, but why? Like, what?
And then was it...
Why would you not just use Quickly?
Was it Angus that put it like a...
Oh, Quickly's account. This is on LinkedIn, and Quickly's LinkedIn. Whoever's doing their social stuff is doing a great job. But you know that...
The guy from The Office?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He does it. This, I think, was like that one where the guy's like, excuse me?
Oh, yeah.
They put that as a comment, but I was like...
That's great. Aggressive.
But they just called him out. Yeah.
But the thing is like the brokers, the 11,000 that use Quickly love it, and the 11,000 that don't probably aren't doing any loans. So
well, here's the thing, right? There's 22,000 brokers now.
Yeah.
Quickly has over 12,500 users.
So why would you want to get them offside? Like to insult Quickly is almost. Like I don't even know who you're talking about, and I hate him already. Like, do you know what I mean?
But here's the thing: of the 22,000, some of them are asset brokers. Let's say a few thousand are asset brokers, right? So how many does that leave? Let's say it's probably more than a few thousand asset brokers. There's a lot of asset brokers. But let's say a few thousand asset brokers, so that leaves 19,000. And then of the 19,000 to the 12.5, there's a long tail of people that have accreditations but don't use them, and then there's a long tail of brokers that write $1 million a month, and like they probably have enough time to do manual serviceability calculators.
Why would you want to?
I still wouldn't for
attack
$40
that,
a month.
Huh?
For $40 a month, I would still use Quickly. Even if I was doing $1 million a month, that'd be enough for me to use it.
I said this yesterday. I was in Tassie for the FBAA Elevate event, and I was saying, like, as brokers, we do have to put some emphasis or some respect on our time. Like doctors, lawyers do, they bill by the hour, but because as brokers we don't bill by the hour, we find it hard to quantify what our hourly rate is, or put effort. And it's like, not just like, oh, how much do I earn and then divide that by 12. Like, if I was doing a more dollar productive task, how much money could I earn? The opportunity cost layer is what people miss. Is go, oh, my hourly rate is whatever, $100 an hour, or whatever. I can spend half an hour to do this, and it'll be cheaper than doing using Quickly. It's like, why would you think like that? It's such a small way to think. Invest in yourself. Respect your own time the way that a lawyer or a doctor does. You're a professional. You're adding value to the client. But there are tools that can give you back time in your day that can allow you to sign on your referral partners. How much is that going to be worth? If you get a really good accountant, that could be an extra few mil a month.
Yeah.
So, like, what's $50? Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
We've been interviewing business owners as part of our thing, and speaking to Joel's best mate yesterday, and he was saying that his accountant, to answer questions for the mortgage that the broker's doing for free, the accountant's charging the client time to answer these questions and do the work, like send the tax returns, answer
Explain
some
the
questions,
figures,
explain that.
Yeah,
They're charging for it
for
you to do for free.
increments or something.
Yeah, whereas the business owner probably more accepts, oh yeah, the accountant would charge for their time, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if the broker did it, it'd be like, oh, what?
I'm okay with that.
If you have to charge for every follow-up call to charge your client, it'd sometimes be a few.
I thought about that, like there was a planner I met with, and what he does is he charges for his time and then refunds the commission. And I thought about that, and the aggregators would never ever allow it. So it is what it is. But then we get some clients and they're like, so easy, PAYG, $1 million loan, refinance, something like that. And then you get like $100,000 top up for multiple entities and this, that, and then they don't even use it net of offset. And I'm like, well, I would love to be able to give this person a refund and charge this person so that they're, it's, we kind of operate our business almost like in a communist style where the money's all shared amongst all the customers, I guess. But it's, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of that.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah. But it is true. Like for us, the same amount of work is involved in doing, say, a $5,000 personal loan, and the lenders will cap the commission or cap the fee and be like, it's like, we'll do a $5,000 personal loan and make $220 including GST. It's like, that's the same amount of work as like a $250,000 piece of equipment. Like maybe more work, literally, because that equipment might be a low doc at $250. And it's like ID and ABN lookup and a ASIC file and like fucking that's about it, And but it's like because like charging a fee on that is like unconscionable. It's like, really though? So like if you had a $5,000 little reno in your house, like that builder's not going to go, because it's only a $5,000 reno, I'm not going to put my labor charge on there. Like for some reason we've allowed this to happen. We've allowed people to disrespect our time.
Yeah. But that was one
we don't get paid. Like a lot of people don't know this, but there's a lot of situations where we'll do the entire work for somebody, and it could be hours, could be days, could be weeks. In some cases, could be months worth of back and forward. And then at the last minute, they go, actually, no, we're going to go with our bank or something. And then we don't get paid for that. And so, like, some people don't understand that business model, like, and why, like, brokers, like, if you are going to invest time and go through a broker, provided they're doing the right thing by you,
exactly.
Because you're entitled. If you're not happy with their communication or whatever, that broker's got no one to blame but themselves.
Absolutely.
Right? So I'm not saying that once you start talking to a broker, you should feel obligated to proceed with them. No, you're entitled to pick your broker and who you like working with. But if they're doing everything right by you and going out of their way and they're getting you a good deal, and your bank's luring you in with like, we'll match it and we'll make it so easy for you. Your bank account's already with us, like. That's the wrong thing.
And you're already 3 pre-approvals deep, and you've looked at all these properties for them, and you've done all of this work, and they're like, "I found the property now."
Here's how crazy it is. Imagine you hire a builder
insane.
and he builds the whole house. For you.
Yeah.
Because that's the work involved, right?
Yeah.
Builds the entire house, gets everything up and running, and you go, actually, I'm just going to go with the other builder.
Yeah.
And then you pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. It's the
And
same
he
crazy.
paints it or something, yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's also one thing that drove us into this, because you have to be more efficient.
Absolutely.
Like, people are picking now to treat self-employed differently. Like, go, you know what? It's actually all right to take a few weeks to get back to you because you're self-employed. And you're like, not really. Like, no, not really. It's
your friend, your cafe
Yeah.
shop owner friend said
Yeah,
you had to
Tane
wait a
restaurant.
whole month to hear back, and the
Yeah.
man's like, why don't you come and talk to us? Oh, I've already given him all my stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, well, like,
That's
he's actually a good bloke, so like he will wait and he'll be like, oh, you know, but I'll
And
give him
empathy,
time.
you get business owner empathy, I think.
Yeah,
You
but it's
go,
like a
I know
month.
what it would feel like if somebody did that.
He
so I'm
waited
gonna
a
stick with
month
you.
to hear back from the broker he went to, and I like, he just like, surely it's just like I don't know what to do with it, or
Yeah.
whatever it is, but they have to be more efficient. Like, and we spoke with a lender, and he goes, yeah, it takes us 8 times longer to assess a self-employed deal than it takes to do a PAYG. So like, it
And they
makes
get
sense.
not paid a
And they-
cent more.
Yeah, it's they so actually, yeah, it's the same interest that the customer's paying, so therefore it's actually less profitable, and so they're not going to treat them the same. They're going to prioritize these guys over these guys because it makes more money and they've got shareholders to pay. So we get it.
That's what drives us. We
But like,
think
it doesn't
that,
have to be like that.
No, we understand that it is complex, and it has to be complex, because this is the thing. So I went to like a major bank roundtable, and we were talking about improvements to policy, and I said, almost being facetious, I was like, if a customer has a phone and internet bill through their company, and but they use it to make personal calls, can we add that back? And I knew they were going to say no, because the amount of time, like, imagine they're like, oh, that phone bill and this, that. But why not? Like, why? I've got 6,000 a month living expenses. You've got 6,000 a month living expenses. But in the 6,000, 1,000 of those get paid by the business. So I'm actually only spending 5,000 a month. Why can't I get a discount on my hemp? The reason isn't that the banks think that it's high risk or that you shouldn't have it. The reason is that it's going to take too long. And so business owners value speed very highly. Obviously, time is money. They need to, right? They need to see their next client, like we do. But so they're like, I need it rushed through. But then you go, why can't I borrow the amount that I know I can afford? And you're like, well, you can't have both. Well, you can have both, can't they?
You can have it, because that's part of the reason because Joel came up with the name to be like, quickly is quickly and we're accurately, you know, so you can have it quickly and accurately. So you know, like, that's just where it come from. But to be like, you know, a little,
We're gonna have to pay them royalties.
be
now
with
that you
them.
said that.
Yeah. I'd be like, oh, it's quick and accurate, because you know the saying goes, we're not saying quickly is like this, but just the general saying, they go, oh, you're going to sacrifice speed for accuracy or accuracy for speed. It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, how do you get both? How do you become fast and accurate?
The dream is to do like what you're doing for asset, and obviously you've got the resi side as well. But the dream is that to do a similar thing for resi, and because of the variance in policies and all the different, you know, you've got the security and the whole range of things that, you know, LVRs and the like. But if somebody could just put their information docs in Hailo, for example, and then it sends the tax returns and financials through our thing, and payslips go through. I mean, we were working on payslip reader, and we were getting like 99% accuracy on it, but we thought that the need wouldn't be as obvious. So we'll hopefully come back, and then it goes through quickly, and then it's like the comparison gets done in quickly, and then you press lodge, and quickly is going to lodge to lender. No, I don't know. They should, but they're saying they won't. But I think they should.
Well,
And none of that doesn't impact the broker either. It makes them faster.
correct.
But you still need to speak to your broker. Like,
Where
Joel's
should I buy?
speaking
What
to
can I
someone,
do?
Yeah, and saying,
In concept stage.
I'm going to buy this place, and then like,
There's still a lot for the broker to do.
So how much money are you going to use? And you go, oh, I got this much deposit. Okay, cool. We'll just throw that at the property, and then because you're going to buy it as a home. Oh yeah, that's fine. Do this. Throw it all there because it's not tax deductible. But a broker might know to ask, you're going to live there. How long are you going to live there? Oh, 2 years, and then probably sell or get a new one. Okay, well, don't throw all the money there. Keep it, and then
There's
use
still
it
a
for
lot
this.
of advice.
Yeah, like there's always like what if. There's all this stuff that you need to speak to a broker about. So we're never going to replace that. We don't want to. We don't want to. Like, it's
when you are approved, hey, I'm going to auction on Saturday. What should I do? How do I get the deposit? And so many things. Oh, we bought for 10,000 less. What should we do with the loan? There's still a lot involved.
We just want to take the stuff that is just like mind-numbing, and it's not
repetitive.
Like
so
no one cares how long it took you to look through financials and tax returns. You don't go, you know what it took me? It took me 5 hours. That's how valuable. It took me 10, so I'm more valuable. I'm like, no, it didn't. It's just like, just get it out of the way. Go speak to people.
How you get to the outcome. It doesn't matter if it took you 5 or 10 hours.
Yeah.
If you can do it in 30 seconds, the outcome is what people are paying for.
Yeah.
And that is why I think when people talk about, my clients value personal relationship, I'll never be replaced by AI. I think you're wrong. I think that's the wrong. They value the outcome that brokers get for them.
That's right.
And so as soon as an AI can, let's say you took the best broker, capability, whoever the best broker is, and the best credit analyst to select the lender and choose the right lender, and the best salesperson, the best, and you turn them into like a character, like like in a video game where you create, you turn all the attributes all the way to 10, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you could do that, and so you had all the best skill sets, but it was an AI, and it got the best outcome for the client, and it was fast, and the communication was seamless, and are you telling me people aren't going to use that?
Yeah, they will.
They absolutely will use that.
Without a doubt.
It's like internet banking. Oh, I love my banker, and I've got, we've been 20 years been seeing my banker. I'm never going to use internet banking. I don't trust internet. No, everybody does internet banking.
That's right.
And BlackBerry were the same. Like, no, our customers love manual keyboards, like physical keyboards. Like, no, they didn't. They just liked the fact that the previous touchscreens that people did and previous digital keyboards sucked so bad. So the physical keyboards were like better. As soon as Apple made a better digital keyboard, the people were like, fuck that. I'd rather the rest of the screen real estate, and a contextual keyboard that pops up only when I need it. The rest of the time, a screen. Same thing with Blockbuster. Like, I love the romantic feeling of walking through and selecting a movie. As soon as it was more convenient and more selection of movies sorry, that one's out of stock, and late fees and fucking all the rest of it. People care about outcomes, and at the moment, brokers are getting better outcomes than the bank. Absolutely. And I want to make sure that stays the case.
Absolutely.
But we can't have our heads in the sand. So tell me, how are you going to, what's the strategy or go to market? Is this going to be a product that brokers can subscribe to? Is it a SaaS model? Is it just available via API, or what's the plan?
I guess it's probably, we think of it more as software. There's an AI component that reads documents, so you never have to read it. Then everything else is business rules software, so it runs through. And like Joel was saying, it'll give you the automated income report, and that's ready to give to a lender, ready for you to use however you want. And then also the lender notes, gives you broker notes, which are a bit more educational, like why are you looking at these things? Like, what is Div 7A? Why does that matter? Yeah.
Gives a quickly summary until we get the API.
Yeah, so there's actually a quickly report. The layout is the same as the quickly layout. You can just get someone to data enter like across.
Yeah, just go
and the toggling, and it depends what you're toggling on and off as well. So if you go, you know what, I am using this ad back or I'm not, that'll update the quickly summary to know what to put into quickly. And off the back of that is the lender note. So if you're saying, depending on what you are using and not using, the note will change, that you can just literally put that straight into an application.
I love that you guys are building with the collaboration in mind, and that's one thing that I think I've been talking about for a little while. I think it's so important, and we don't just try and build tools that there's already out there, but I think I can do it better. It's we, as an industry, we don't have the resources that Commonwealth Bank have, as an example. We don't have the $10 billion profit to invest in technology. So we need to pick something, and if we're going to do it, you need to be the best at that. You need to have studied that problem and have dealt with that problem in such an in-depth layer before you start trying to solve it. And if there's already a serviceability calculator out there, instead of trying to build that part, how about just integrate with that part? There's another part to that where some people are trying to gatekeep and not do partnerships and collaborations, and I think that's the wrong approach as well, because saying, well, maybe down the track we will build that or want to build that. And it's
why?
You can only focus on so many things. And,
exactly.
Well, we think together, you can move so much faster together.
Yeah.
If we go together, you move so much faster. And that's also a less risky option as well. Or you can go and spend millions and millions trying to copy quickly do it worse.
The other thing, you
and have to do it cheaper. Why would you do that?
Well, you appreciate this as well. because we're working on only one particular really specific problem, you really specialize in that. Ben will sit there and he'll go, that doesn't work. Okay, so the AI, what I do is I was doing the reading part of it, and it didn't like a certain thing. And I go, okay. So what the bank would do is they go, oh, it says in the Google best practices, you just train it 1,000,000 times. And I'm like, what if I just decided I'm not going to read that? Is there another way I can access that information? And is there an easier way? Like, if I'm going to train it on 1,000,000 documents and I'll get it to 92% accuracy, in my opinion, that's still not good enough. So I'd rather go, let's just remove it. Because as you know, AI, like with the OCR, it tries to impress. So it will try to look for things that... So if it struggles, then that could actually throw then other fields out. So we can make these executive decisions very quickly just on our own. We don't have to go, that's why the banks have to spend tens of millions or hundreds of millions, because it's got to go through team after team, and it's very, very rigid.
And you're a bit removed from the problem sometimes too. Like, I know you've spoken about it a lot in other podcasts, and it's true, the further, I would suck at solving an aggregated problem.
Yeah.
I'd be so bad at that. Be like, hey Ben, can you solve this? Just pretend I had a problem with commission
reconciliation.
I'm like,
yeah,
I would suck at that. I'd be the worst person to get for that job.
And this is the problem that the aggregators have. Like, AFG spends so much time in Canberra lobbying for mortgage brokers, right? And we heard a lot about it during the Royal Commission, but they still do it. They fight the banks tooth and nail every single day. They need to promote that. They need to talk a lot more. That's what you guys do. You're here because we're small and you're big, and you help us. Focus on that. Tech, and doesn't matter where you get the tech, you build it or you buy it or whatever, as long as it works and it's available.
Yeah, and I think they just need to be more open to integrating with other solutions to give their brokers options.
Definitely.
Definitely do due diligence, because there's data security concerns. You can't just have a random SaaS product pop up and then integrate with an aggregator, and then it's it's funneling data, somewhere it shouldn't, or it's completely unsafe.
We've been going through the ISO process. I know you've done it with Hailo. Oh, you buy Vanta? We're using Vanta too, but it's just like, oh my god.
Imagine doing it without Vanta.
Yeah, we did do that in the previous group I was a part of, and we did it with the
Excel sheets.
No, it was just it was just so manual, and just being able to connect to your AWS account and all the other stuff, and it's so much better, so much more improved with Vanta. And then having the trust portal, I think that's pretty cool, because let's say we've done some aggregator deals now and partnerships, and we're just they're like, oh, we need to do this information security questionnaire, and that's gonna be fucking 200 questions and blah blah. It's like, no worries, here's our trust portal, go and sort it out, go and find the answers, you know what I mean, go and get the answers to what you're looking for. And that just streamlines our side, because we don't have a massive cybersecurity team. Like, our CTO would have to look through all of that and go through all that. But we have external penetration testing. We have we have bug bounty programs, and we have these security researchers constantly trying to break our systems and find things that could potentially be exploited by sort of people who are malicious. And we're lucky we pay some of the best researchers to do that, because obviously that could be an issue if we ever get attacked, if we weren't taking those precautions. But it's really important. So I understand the aggregators need to do their DD, but if somebody's taken the effort to go through and get the cybersecurity stuff sorted and get the ISO and do all that, I think it shows a level of security that there's probably a reality that a lot of the aggregators don't even have ISO level security anyway. I'm not going to say which ones or try and point, because I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, it's not super impressive the way that some of them are structured or set up. They lean heavily on external tech providers to
and they're certainly not enforcing their brokers too. I mean,
a lot of their brokers are just chucking stuff straight into free versions of ChatGPT.
Whose responsibility is that? I don't know. To answer your question before, it will be an app. And on the 29th of August, we'll be going live, and we're going to get the first 100 brokers signed up. We decided to do a limited release because we love it. We know how we're going to use it, but we're really interested to see how the brokers would use it. We're actually using an external dev company called Accurateli, who are brilliant. They're really good. But all of the really difficult part was the questionnaire and the reading and validation, verification of all of the values and all the items, and then going through that conditional logic. Now that we've got that, it's all about then how do we use that data. So the quickly summary it took a couple of weeks to do. One of the feedback that we got was like we chucked a pretty straightforward tax return, and it did all of the checks, and then it goes, here's 3 bits of data, and then that was the demo I gave to some brokers, and they're like,
well, they assume that's all it did.
Yeah,
so they
'cause it
thought
doesn't-
that was the limit.
it
We're
doesn't
like,
look
oh.
impressive, and we're like, well, okay, so if we showed you the checks that it does and what the results were, I was like, yes, I would want to know, like the analytical ones. Like I want to make sure that these checks are being done. So, so that was super quick. Then there's a bunch of other features that we've built out in terms of what the steps would be, but it's not in the platform. So we just want to hear from brokers, say, well, what would you like us to prioritize?
I think it's a good strategy. We did the same thing with Hailo. Like we did it with a pilot group. We slowly but surely. We're not like pumping through the wait list and giving it to everybody. Like we're getting feedback on it, and we're making improvements every day, nearly. So I don't think it's the right approach to just go everybody can have it, and after it hasn't been sort of really robustly tested and like tailored to each individual business. Like the product that we demoed and promised in February for Hailo versus what it is now, it's already so much better. So much better. It's almost like it's a different product. Like it's almost like we're on fucking version 2 or something. Like it's not just like a little bit. It's like, oh, this is heaps better. And there's more features coming every single week. And it's
I sat in both of those, and it was definitely the portal was a big one.
Yeah.
And we want to have one day have a portal where they can actually, the client can invite their accountant in, and because what happens when I was working for Joel as the research analyst or parabroker, whatever you want to call it, I put a template at the top of my email to every self-employed client. If easier, just forward this email to your accountant, because that's what would happen. They'd say, I never got sent my tax returns.
But also, like as a broker, you should be getting it from the accountant, in my view. Anyway, what I train our brokers to do is to use that opportunity to talk to the accountants and build a relationship and a referral partnership with that accountant.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we're helping your mutual client, Johnny Smith or whatever, and use that as an opportunity to demonstrate how much value you can bring to them and their clients. And be like, by the way, if you had referred this client, you would have potentially got a referral clip, and that could be something that is there. But so there's going to be an online portal where people can subscribe and they upload the tax return. And
brokers will have an account and have sub-users, of course, if you have staff that do it for you.
Yeah. And is the model like a monthly subscription unlimited, or is it like a...
it'll be monthly subscription. This is one thing we'll do the first 100 users, but most likely be tiered. So there's like different levels, if you're, depending on how much you want to use it. It'll be subscription with limited use. The smallest one would be maybe 4 tax returns in a month. So it's not going to be like it wastes your money, because we want to actually make it as cheap as possible, so as many people will use it as possible. That's what we want to do. So we'd be 3 tiers, probably that, and then if you use beyond that point, then you just pay at a discounted rate per use.
If
it
wasn't
almost
for the
like
cost,
you're giving them credits.
It'll be credits.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the cost per thing, like if it was like just any other tech, then we wouldn't charge per go. But it's because of the
there is some server costs and service costs. So that's fair. Well, that's good. I'm very excited for you guys. Keep us in the loop. Hopefully, these podcasts usually take sort of a couple of weeks to produce and edit and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully by the time we'll have at least a teaser or something ready for around the same time as you launch, or subsequent videos explaining what you guys do through that period of when you early pilot. So excited for you guys. Always been a pleasure talking shop, and whenever we see you guys at all the events. I'm sure at some point you'll be out there spruiking it as well. So
I think we'll see you in Melbourne next month.
Oh, you're doing the Innovation Summit?
Yeah,
sweet. Looking forward to it. That'd be amazing. Can't wait to see it live, and it'd be great. Thank you so much, guys. It's been great, and we'll keep everybody updated as to the progress of the product.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks, Julian.
Thanks, guys.